It's a Totals Tuesday on this Team Huevos Tuesday. We got a 5-pack of games. We're going to give you some early leans on whether we're going to go over or under. Let's start with a Thursday night affair between the Minnesota Vikings and the LA Chargers. Again, we got some important news today for fantasy footballers out there. Kamani Vidal is looking like he is going to be the main man in this offense as the primary runner for the LA Chargers because Hassan Haskins listed as doubtful with the hamstring injury. And we also got some news that Carson Wentz is going to be back under center, getting the start over J.J. McCarthy. And honestly, I think Wentz is better at this point than J.J. McCarthy, so it's giving him the best shot to collect the W there on the road. The over-under in this game at BetMGM, 44.5. So Horvat, Vikings, Chargers, over or under that 44.5?
I think I would have to bet the under here. Right? I mean, Minnesota, the run defense, the pass defense. See, I do feel good about right now where the Chargers offense could head, but their offensive line is an absolute mess. So every time I start getting excited about them, like I had a big bet on them, unfortunately, this last weekend, they completely let me down. They're really missing Slater, man, right now. And the offense is weird this year, where usually with a Greg Roman offense, you know, it's going to be run on early downs, you know, try to make up ground on late downs. Instead, they went with this pass-first offense, and I was all excited for Herbert. He was pushing the ball down the field, and then it's been a little clunky the last couple weeks. So I would probably lean under. Vikings are going to send a ton of heat at Herbert. We know Brian Flores is going to do that. I trust the Chargers defense enough. I could see this game being 24-20, you know, and you still win the bet with the hook there. So I lean under.
I'm actually going to take the over, believe it or not. I think it's going to be a little bit higher scoring affair than some people believe. You look at Minnesota, yes, they're just number 26 in EPA per play offense. Middle of the pack, though, on the defensive end of things. And the Chargers kind of middle of the pack in both those categories. I think the Chargers are unraveling more defensively right now, where they're number 19 EPA per play D. And you look at the trends, Minnesota's hit the over 5 times. They're 5-1 over to under this season. LAC 3 is their overall record. So, yeah, I think it just sneaks over in that game, and I'm hoping for that because, again, it's by Mageddon. We need to scratch and claw and get all the serviceable fantasy production we possibly can. So we're rooting for overs for sure to start off the week with a bang. All right, let's move on to Bears and Baltimore Ravens, the highest total that I've seen on the board this week. It's at 50.5, and hopefully Lamar Jackson's going to be back in uniform for Baltimore. We'll have to see how the practice reports shake out the rest of the week. But what are your thoughts? Over or under Bears-Ravens 50.5?
You know what? I'll take the under. I mean, on paper, this looks like it's going to be a complete shootout, but I like what I've seen from the Bears defense the last 2 weeks. They've been better against the run. They're getting healthier in the secondary. And also, they're trying to establish the ground game a little bit more, whereas they didn't really have a ground game those first couple weeks. Their ground game was just short Caleb Williams passes. The Ravens defense is a mess. That's the concern here. But you know, with a bunch of beat-up guys, I think they're also going to look to establish the run, and they might be able to finally do so against this Bears run defense. So let's see if Derrick Henry can finally get it going. But I actually lean under here. Barely under, but I think this game will just clip the under.
Yeah, that's the key adjective there. Barely under, right? And I think I'm with you on that one. You know, I think the Bears and Ravens are going to put up some points, but I don't think it's going to eclipse the 50.5 number. I mean, the advanced data tells you a different story. You mentioned the struggle of the Ravens defensively. They're dead last right now in EPA per play defense. They're also dead last in rush EPA defense, and that could be some great news for DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monengai in this Ben Johnson zone scheme. The Bears certainly improving in the trenches. They're now number 12 overall EPA per play defense, but it's the back end that's the concern. Can they play at least average football? We'll have to see what kind of accumulated rust and dust that Lamar Jackson has. But yeah, gut feeling says you're correct in your assessment. I think the under hits here on the 50.5. The Baltimore has hit the over in 5 of 6 games this year. Let's move on to a team that I can never fade in terms of taking the under. That's Dallas. They're on the road in the Mile High City, taking on the Denver Broncos. The total in that game at 49.5. So, Horvy, you already know mine lane. What do you say? Over or under? Again, 49.5. Cowboys and Broncos.
Over here, Cowboys top 5 in pretty
Yep.
much every offensive metric. If you're looking at scoring drive, they're 52% there. EPA per play, they're second in the league. And, like we talked about earlier in the show, Bo Nix and the Broncos, they're not really consistent, but we've seen the flashes. Like we just saw, granted it was against the Giants. They scored 33 points in that final quarter. So over for me. I think this game could go over 54, 55 even.
Over and over again. And you know what? Screw it. But Daddy gotta have it. Let's go. I mean, you gotta bet everything over on Dallas. They haven't acquired as of yet. Last that I checked, they're still repugnant on the bat. It's just so forgiving. Dallas hit the over in 5 of 7 games this season. Now the Denver Broncos have been converse in that category. They're 2-5 over and under on the year, and they got an outstanding defense. But Dallas will force a narrative. It's going to be a fast-paced game. Scoring is going to pile up over and over again. That game's going to be well into the 50s. Completely agree with you there. All right, let's go to the Aaron Rodgers homecoming. I know you're going to be glued to this one as a diehard Aaron Rodgers guy, a diehard Green Bay Packers fan. This one being played in Western PA. The Steelers and Packers over-under right now at 44.5. Horvat, what do you say? Over or under in the Aaron Rodgers welcome home, or really welcome Green Bay to his current home there in Pittsburgh?
I'm going to go with the narrative bet here. I think I'm going to go over because I think that Aaron Rodgers is going to do what he does best when he's playing against teams or people that he hates, like we saw week 1 against the Jets. He's going to put on a show. He's been excellent. And I think Jordan Love, in return, is also going to want to put on a show. And he's going to have some help because he's going against the Steelers, who right now have a bottom-tier defense, pretty much actually in every metric. Now, the Packers are allowing the fewest yards per play, but they've only generated 3 turnovers, which is a big issue. And they have some real issues in that secondary right now with Nate Hobbs. I like the over here, man. I think we go 28-20, so I'll take the over.
I'll take the over as well. I mean, Rodgers is dealing right now. I mean, he is top 10 in myriad categories at 41 years young in terms of completion percentages. I mean, he's killing it. He's number 1 right now in red zone completion percentage. It's not like this Pittsburgh defense has been remotely locked down, shut down. They're number 25 in EPA per play D on the year and pretty good offensively. They're top 10 in EPA per play offense. And you look at Green Bay, number 16 EPA per play D. So I think Rodgers will have his way vertically, and I think Green Bay will be able to answer a lot of the points that Rodgers puts up on the board. So yeah, I think the over is a play there on the 44.5. One side note, the Steelers have cashed the over in 4 of 6 games this year. Let's get one more out there. Washington and Kansas City. This one being played on Monday night. The over-under is set at 48.5 between the Commanders and Chiefs. Again, KC is rocking right now, back at full strength in that wide receiver core. That's why Patty Mahomes is your front runner at plus 150 to win the MVP. We'll see if Daniels plays. I think it's unlikely with that setback with a hamstring. Probably going to get some Marcus Mariota. But what are your thoughts on Commanders Chiefs over or under 48.5?
Yeah, if it's Jaden Daniels full health, I'm going to take the over here because there are still some concerns with the Chiefs, but I think their defense is obviously going to improve. There's just way too many veterans that weren't playing up to, as we used to say, the back of their baseball or I guess football cards. Like Chris Jones, I don't know if he was injured in the beginning of the season or what, but he was lazy, man, and they were terrible against the run. But it's Spags and it's that defense. I think they're going to get that thing figured out. I don't know. I mean, Marcus Mariota is serviceable, and they can move the football, but I don't know if I trust them against the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs, like we talked about with Trey, could do the same thing that they did to the Raiders. Eat clock, march up and down the field, first down after first down. It's not like the explosive Chiefs offense with Tyreek Hill, where they're trying to take the top off the defense every other play. So I would actually lean under. It would be scary. I don't think I could bet it, but I lean under here.
It's really tough. I mean, really what you're relying on is can Marcus Mariota, if he does, assuming get the start in this one, move the football and matriculate the ball down the field enough to get enough points on the board? That's the question mark, right? Because Kansas City, I think, is going to be good for what? At least 30? maybe as many as 35, 36 points in this one. I mean, they're just able to fire on all cylinders with Rashee Rice back. Then, of course, you got Hollywood Brown there, scored a touchdown last week. He's got 3 touchdowns in his last couple of games. Xavier Worthy, kind of a jack of all trades. And, oh, boy, I'm already salivating the prospects of what the over-under on rush yards is going to open at BetMGM for Xavier Worthy. He cashed again last week. All we need is one carry, and he seems to be getting that every single time. So that's the $64,000 question. How many points will the Commanders score? I'm with you. I'll take the under. I don't think it's going to be too many.